250 years ago, farmers became soldiers. Merchants became revolutionaries. Fathers became patriots. They weren't fighting because they hated a king. They were fighting because they loved freedom more than they feared the cost. They understood something we've begun to forget. Freedom is never given. Freedom is defended. For 250 years, America has stood as one of the greatest experiments in human history. We've crossed a continent. We've built the greatest system of roads and highways the world has ever seen. We've connected a nation by rail. We turned the automobile from an invention into a way of life. We've harnessed electricity. We've brought heating and air conditioning into millions of homes. We've mastered flight. We've walked on the moon. We've built cities that reach the clouds. We've pioneered medicine, manufacturing, agriculture, entrepreneurship, the internet, AI, and innovations that transform the world. When the world needed innovation, America answered. When tyranny threatened freedom, America answered. When disaster struck, America answered. Not because we were perfect, because we were free. That freedom built everything. It built families, it built businesses, it built communities, and it built dreams. It built a nation where someone with nothing could build something that changes the world. America has always been at its best when ordinary people were free to accomplish extraordinary things. But history teaches another lesson. Every great civilization eventually reaches a crossroad, a moment when it must decide whether it still believes in the principles that made it great. This is our moment. Today, many Americans feel like something has changed. The very concerns our founders warned us about seem familiar once again. Many worry that the government has become too large and too distant. They worry about increasing surveillance. They worry about a nation built on debt that future generations will inherit. They worry that powerful corporations and special interest groups have too much influence and power over our public life. They worry that too many political leaders seem more interested in winning the next election than serving the people who elected them. We watch institutions lose trust of the people they are supposed to serve. We see politics become less about solving problems and more about gaining power. We see outrage replaced with conversation, fear replacing courage, division replacing unity. Every election, we are told our fellow Americans are the enemy. Every headline demands our anger. Every algorithm rewards outrage. And while we're arguing with each other, who's watching the people in power? Power has a way of protecting itself, no matter who holds it. Red or blue, left or right. The names change, the slogans change, the campaigns change. But too often, the incentive to gain and keep power remains. When citizens stop paying attention, power grows. When neighbors become enemies, accountability disappears. When fear replaces independent thought, liberty begins to erode. The founders didn't ask us to worship politicians. They asked us to question them. They didn't build a nation around political parties. They built a republic around the people. Government of the people, government by the people, government for the people. Some of the greatest victories in American history didn't happen because Washington had all the answers. It happened because ordinary Americans refused to surrender what mattered most to them: freedom. Veterans, teachers, farmers, factory workers, entrepreneurs, mothers, fathers, immigrants, dreamers, and builders. People who believed liberty belonged to every generation, not just one that founded the nation. We're constantly told we're divided, but are we? Most Americans, regardless of political party, want many of the same things. We want to raise our families in peace. We want honest work to matter. We want safe communities. We want opportunity. We want our children to inherit something better than we did. We want freedom. Freedom to speak without fear. Freedom to think for ourselves. Freedom to raise our families according to our values. Freedom to innovate. Freedom to build. Freedom to fail. Freedom to succeed. Freedom to enjoy privacy instead of feeling like every click, purchase, and conversation becomes another piece of data. Freedom to choose our own path. The strongest nation on earth cannot remain strong if people forget that freedom demands participation, courage, sacrifice, and responsibility. The question has never been whether America is worth fighting for. The question is whether we're willing to preserve the principles that made her worth building. 250 years ago, our founders pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. Today, no one is asking us to cross the Delaware. No one is asking us to stand at Lexington. No one is asking us to march to the Valley Forge. But history is asking something of us. Will we think for ourselves? Will we hold every institution accountable? Will we defend liberty with the same conviction that built this nation? Will we leave America stronger than we found it? Or will we become the generation that slowly traded freedom for comfort, convenience, and complacency? 250 years ago have passed. The torch has been handed to us. We've accomplished more than our founders could have imagined. But if we lose the principles that made those achievements possible, what will the next 250 years look like? So that brings the question, after 250 years, are we really even free?